Hi, this is Gabriele Kushi with Ginat and World Forum, and I welcome you today to the class. I'm going to be presenting sea vegetables, and we're going to be showing you a video where I was doing in a cooking class, and I hope you enjoy it. Please write your questions down so we can discuss them towards the end of the video. I am Macrobiotic since 1971, and I have a business, an online business, which is called kushiskitchen.com. And I'm offering you some classes there for free also, some videos and some free counseling sessions. And I have a book, couple books, and I have been studying macrobiotics for a long time. I've graduated from the Kushi Institute. I was one of the first classes in Boston. And I have been working with Michio and with Evelyn personally also because they're my mother and father-in-law. And I have been married to the son, Larry Kushi. And we have one daughter, Angelica, and she just got a baby. So her first baby, and I'm first-time grandmother. So I'm really over the moon. Gaga, we like the French people say Gaga over the baby. And I even moved from my long-time place in Minnesota, US. I moved to Seattle, and I'm really happy to live here. And I would like to ask you, how are you doing? How are you doing with sea vegetables? How are you doing with the classes you are seeing here? What are your questions? And I'm waiting for Ginat to give me the okay. She was supposed to show the sea vegetable video and she cannot find it. So I have no idea what we're going to be doing. I don't know who is in the class. I cannot see that. I can see only a few people. Maybe Ruth, Selma, Dina, Lois, Arlene, Sonia, Clara, Karin, Hazel, and you're all muted. So Audrey, Bill, Aaron, Gretchen, Tess, Rebecca, Ruth, Emco, Marianne, Irene, Kathy, Loribel, Barry, Alice, Liz. Oh my gosh, you're lots of people here. I welcome you all. Barry, Ro, Candy, Janice, Bill, Will, Beverly. So that's a lot of people. So if you have any questions for starting off, while Ginat, oh, she found it, great. And
well done, Gabrielle, well done.
Yeah, we are on. I'm so happy that we are on. Otherwise, it would have been a little bit of a, I mean, I'm so happy, so grateful. Ginat, you did a great job. Thank you so much for hosting me and inviting me. I just love it. And how we're going to continue is just we're going to watch the video. And please, as I said before, write your questions down and we're going to be talking and discussing this. And I have questions for you too after the video. Thank you. Ginat, it's all yours. Thank you. You have no sound, Ginat. And I think you're showing only the first, you showing the full one or just the small one?
Is someone saying something?
I tried to say you don't have a voice there. We don't hear you, and I don't know what you could do to put the voice on.
You don't hear? Oh, yes.
I don't hear anything. If you
That's
could start
correct.
again, if you could start again or whatever you have.
Yes, and I do know how to do that. Sorry about that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I want to tell to everybody, I'm not seeing the chats while this is going on, I don't think. So write down your questions and at the end we'll have time, lots of time. Okay. So let's start again. And this time I will share the sound.
Thank you.
And let's see if I know how to start over. Wait a minute. Hang on.
Meanwhile, I wanted to ask if everybody knows the song. I don't know with whom you studied or where you are all over, but I studied mostly with Michio and Avelin, as I mentioned, and Michio always sang the song, row, row, row your boat. So when you row your boat, I think we are in a sweet water because we can row in the sea too. But so when you row, row, row your boat, this is a very good song to sing now because we are talking about the water, we're talking about sea vegetables from the sweet water and from the salty water. So we can sing it by ourselves. And if you haven't heard the song and you don't know it, check it out on the lyrics. I don't know, we probably have some songs too, but how are we doing?
Okay, we're ready to go.
Thank you.
Kushi. And today I'm going to be teaching you how to make some sea vegetables. I'm going to do the wakame, which is a very easy recipe to do. I'm going to do wakame with cucumbers and chives and with some lemon dressing. And I'm going to be soaking the wakame first in some water, some spring water. It's a sea vegetable which is grows in the sea. It expands. So you don't need a lot, but we're having a lot of people today, so I'm going to do a little bit more than regular. And you're going to be soaking it for about 10 minutes. And I'm going to be using the cucumber here. Put a little bit of salt in there to get the bitterness of the cucumber out. Kind of rub the salt this way, and that supposedly helps to bring the bitterness of the cucumber out. So, and then the next thing, this is an organic cucumber, and I will make some scratches with the fork. And it makes the skin a little bit more soft. It opens up for the dressing to go in. Kind of looks very pretty when you cut it. I'll show you right away how that looks. You can see kind of looks kind of pretty like that. So, and putting it into this container. And this is just easy rounds. You're moving your hand back to watch it not roll all over the place. Put them in our glass container here. And we're gonna marinate them with a little bit of salt. Oops, there we go. They're rolling. I'm using a wooden cutting board and a really sharp knife, which helps to make precision cuts. So it's very important. This is all clean, the table. So, and then we have some chives from the garden here, which have been washed. And we're going to take the flowers out. And you can also use scallions or parsley, whatever is your fancy. You can do that. And you can see, meanwhile, how the wakame is like absorbing the water so easily and so quickly. Cutting it. Chives is some kind of an onion related vegetable. It has this nice tangy flavor, so it's a good thing to put in here. I'm going to put a little bit of salt, sea salt, about a half a teaspoon of sea salt. I'm going to mix it up. If you have a salad press, you can also do this in the salad press. And we're going to be using some of the lemon. Put some lemon juice in it. Have this nice nifty device here to get the juice out. Lemon is a really nice way to make your salads. It's kind of has more vitamin C than vinegars. So I'm usually using this nice sieve. You can also use some of the skin if you like to, because this is an organic lemon. You can use this crater. See how it's very finely opens up. And so you have a little bit of a different lemony flavor and texture, and it smells already delicious, doesn't it? Really yummy. So the next step is mixing it up again, making sure you have enough seasoning in it. And then you can see the wakame is already all really nice soft, and I will strain it using the soaking water of the wakame. You can use either for your soup stock if you like to, or you can use it, give it to your plants if you want to. You can put it in your garden outside to grow your chives, to nourish your chives. So next thing is you mix this up, and so you have a little bit of pieces of wakame mixed in with your cucumber. And that's a very traditional Japanese dish, which is called wakame cucumber salad. And you might want to taste it and see if it needs more seasoning. Could use a little bit more salt. And maybe a touch of rice vinegar. This dish doesn't need to have oil in it, so you don't need to use oil. If you have a salad press, the one I introduced to you on the green leafy vegetable cooking class, you can put this in a press. I'll taste it again. Delicious. It's better. Okay, so one of the questions was that if I always soak the wakame, or if I only do this because I'm using it for the salad. I use the wakame flakes for the salad, and I need to soak them because obviously I want to have them soft. When I'm using the wakame flakes for the miso soup, I can just drop them in. But also when you are using wakame a lot and it gets too salty for you, before you put it in the miso soup, you might want to soak it, and you save the soaking water for other dishes, or you give it to your plants. So I hope that answers your question. There are different wakames out there. Sometimes you can buy the flakes, and sometimes you get the wakame which is all still on the string, Okay, so it still has the vine attached and it has the leaves outside. This is the old style of the wakame, and you still can buy that, and it's a very good product too. But that one, usually when you use it, you need to soak it, because you need to take the spine, the inside out first, and you need to cut it, and then you need to cook that first, or you use that first, and then you use for the our salad today, you would only use the leaves, the outside. The next dish I'm going to be doing is the Arame Sea Vegetables, which looks like a little thin spaghetti type. And you need to kind of soak this one too. And it's really expanding a lot, so I will try to maybe take some out and not soak them all. And it jumps all over the place too. So this one will be double as much. And I'm going to be using spring water again, and I'm going to be soaking it. And it takes about another 5 to 10 minutes. And meanwhile you soak this, you will be able to cut your vegetables. Today we're going to be using carrots. We're going to be using a daikon. We're going to be using a celery as a protein. High protein, we're going to be using the sun-dried tofu. Okay, it's a very interesting thing, but it is really good. We have to soak it in warm water, and then you can kind of press it out. It takes about 10 minutes, and then you will cut it, and then it's ready to go. So we'll start with cutting this first. Make like some small little building blocks, and you want to cut it very thin. It's a little bit of a rubbery texture. You have to kind of like the taste, or you don't. So we will see after we have it today. It's one of my favorite ways to eat the tofu. You can try freeze your own tofu. Buy some hard tofu, not the soft one, and you cut it in thin slices like that, and then you put it in the freezer. And that's all what's all to it. You can do your own, basically. So that's a good way. You have to try it, and you have to let me know how you like it if you make your own. Okay. So this is one. Next thing is going to be cutting the carrots in Julienne style. I already started to see if my knife is sharp enough, and I'm going to be cutting lengthwise. And I take the carrot and put it down, and this doesn't look so nice, this end, and then I'm going this way and cut it in matchstick or Julienne style. That's a very easy way of doing it. You just have to keep your thumb out of the way and use your hand as a guide. So that's how you are doing matchsticks. It's a very good way to get your muscles strong, right? Especially if you cook for 10 to 20 people. I love that way of cutting, and it looks so pretty when you cut it in a diagonal like that. It really helps it to lay it flat like that again. Isn't that very pretty? Very beautiful. And then you hold your thumb away, and then you go again. You can use a mandolin too, but it will never get as fine. The mandolin is a little bit thicker matchsticks, and you might want to try to learn how to cut this way yourself. So it's good if you do weight training, because you need strong muscles here and strong muscles there, and you need to be grounded to be able to do it. So it's a wonderful way of doing it. I will also use the Daikon Radish today, and I will cut this also in a matchstick, but I will tell you a little bit of a different way of doing it so that you get another idea. I washed it with a brush. I show you the vegetable brush. I washed the vegetable with a vegetable brush underwater, so I don't need to peel it. So you don't want to peel it. So yeah, so you can cut it this way, and you can go this way. And then you can this way. There we go. It's another way of cutting matchstick. It's pretty, no? Very nice way of cutting. And that when you are a macrobiotic chef, you want to really learn this and take some time doing it, and it will take some practice. It will not go from one day to another, but always put your thumb in the back and you can slide it like that very easy. So it's a nice way of using this style matchsticks, Julienne style. Okay, and the next vegetable I'm going to be cutting is some celery. Just gonna do it just in a diagonal. Good. So you need to practice matchsticks. I'm going to put a little bit more just to show how to do it, or you want to cut the ends off. They're a little bit messed up, a little bit too brown. Oh, this way maybe. And I'm doing it in a diagonal so that I get the yin and the yang from the vegetables. So meanwhile our arame really got a really nice soaking here. You can tell it's already soft. When you are in the summer, you can use the arame also raw. You don't need to cook it. You can use it the same way as the wakame today. Okay, but today we're going to be using it, and we're going to be heating up our stainless steel pan, and I have some sesame oil today. Going to put some sesame oil in there, like about a tablespoon or two. Depends how much oil you had used already during the day. And then you're going to go from the vegetables however you would like to do them. I will drain this here first. I put this under the like the same I did it with the wakame. I want to drain this, okay? Then I'm going to be putting the tofu, the dry tofu in here. And I'm going to be using the Daikon Radish this way. So I'm kind of layering it, okay? And put the celery. And now I'm going to put the arame. And I'm using some soy sauce to season it. Or you can use tamari. It's a lot of vegetables. And I'm going to be adding a little bit of water to half cover the vegetable. And then you want to bring it to a boil. So that's how it looks here. Very nicely. Okay. And so in the vegetables they take about 10, 15, sometimes 20 minutes, depends how thick you are cutting them. And that's you're waiting till it's done, and then afterwards you're going to be re-season it. You can use either garlic, or you can use some ginger, or you can use some turmeric. And also towards the end we're going to be doing a little bit of rice vinegar. So this will cook now for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, sometimes 20. Okay? So I'm going to be grating some ginger here in my grater. And I'm going to be season the Arame vegetable dish with tofu today with the juice of the ginger. It's a very nifty grater to have. Yeah, so I'm taking this out, and you can see the juice here like that, how that is, you know, that goes out, and that's the one you want for your dish. I'm going to put this in here. And it's still cooking here. So at that point you can mix it a little bit, see how things are going. You can also see that arame really dissolves under the vegetables, so you don't need to have it all so with so much arame. Needs a little bit more cooking time. Yeah. Needs more cooking time, so we have to wait. Sea vegetables, this is a Nori sea vegetables. You can get it already toasted, but if it doesn't come toasted or if it's a little bit too old, you can use your gas flame, open it up, and you can go and put it lightly over there. So not too close, it goes too close, it burns, right? So, and then the green will come out a little bit more. And it's more crunchy, and it's easier to eat that way. So you can have like a half a sheet a day like this. It's a nice way of getting some of the nutrients. You can make a little bit of a trail mix with it. You can put some seeds and a little bit of craisins or raisins with it, cut small, and you can put some of the nori in that. Put it in a glass jar, and you can bring it to work, things like that. It's a very easy way to use your sea vegetables and have some sweetness with it together. So, and you can also sprinkle this over your miso soup if you make your miso soup. And this is another sea vegetable, which is the sea palm. You can soak it and also cook it the same way as you cook with the arame. And then there is another sea vegetable, which is the kombu. And it's also called kelp. So there are like two different ones. This one is from Japan, and it's a long root. And this one is a little bit softer, but it's the same sea vegetable. And this one comes in flakes, but you can also get it as a string like this. And then there is this nori condiment which you can get, which is from Eden, and which has sesame salt in it, and nori flakes there. So. And then we talked already about the wakame, where we at the beginning of the class, and we'll be having our wakame salad right here. And then we talked about the arame, which is cooking, which we're going to be eating right away. There's also another sea vegetables which is called isiki, which is similar to the arame, and you can eat a small amount of isiki or arame about 2 to 3 times a week, excuse me. Yeah. And so this is the salad we're gonna have now. And then this one is the arame dish, which is done cooking. And that's how it looks. Whew, very steamy. And if there is too much liquid, you can just take the liquid off, or you can just eat it like that or make it a thicket. Okay? So that's the sea vegetable class for today. Thank you so much, and please enjoy your sea vegetables.
How do I get back? Hold on. How do I get back? Is everyone seeing my computer? Hello.
Maybe while you are checking to get back in, can we see or hear some of the folks which are...
There it is. There it is.
Oh, there we go. Great.
Great. Thank you. That was a wonderful video.
The quality is a little bit better if you have it yourself, because we are viewing it now 3/3.
Right, right.
So I have to apologize for that. But I think we saw enough, and we could really get some questions out there. One of them I saw, if somebody's asked if we could use coarse sea salt for the wakame dish. Yes, you can. Although it takes a little longer for the salt when it's coarse to dissolve than when if you have fine one, but either one works.
Is this video on YouTube or on your website?
Oh, this video you can just smaller versions I have on YouTube, like 2 minutes. But there are I have about 11 videos, which is they go with my book, The Macrobiotic Kitchen in 10 Easy Steps, with Michio Kushi. And so they are going like sea vegetables, greens, grains, beans. And so you can see small versions of that on YouTube and also on my Facebook, and I'm opening it up a little bit further, but you also can get the whole set of the complete macrobiotic cooking. You can download those through my website, or you can also get them when you are working with me on my long distance macrobiotic and wellness sessions, which are over online, and also with study material, which is a similar format we used at the Kushi Institute. So yeah. There's a question about benefit of dried tofu. Yeah, so I have a question for you. Do you know what is dried food? What's the difference between dried food and fresh food? So whoever asked this question, is it Selma? Can you? And then you asked why freeze tofu?
Yes, I've never done that, so I wanted to understand the reason.
Yeah, you can buy it, so you don't need to do it yourself. This one was bought, and as I mentioned,
not here.
Not in Israel. We don't. That's why I don't know it.
Sorry, but you can try it. I said you can just cut it small and put it, press the water out and then put it in the freezer and try it, or sun dry it. So that's one way to do it. I do it because I love it. It's like it was available here in America, and it's available in Germany where I'm from. So I used it, but you can also use fresh tofu. There is the reason, the difference between dried and fresh is the yin and the yang. When you have something fresh and it has still a lot of water and juice, and it's a little bit more yin compared to when you have the same product dried. One of the things like if you have a fresh grape, it's more yin, and then you have like the raisins, which is a dried grape, it's a little bit more yang. So
Thank you.
What else was the question? Did I answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so where to order the vegetables? So good for slicing vegetables with their thin carbon plates. So Gretchen. Yeah, so Gretchen, the part of the video is available on YouTube, but not all of it. the benefit of dry tofu is because it is a little bit more young. So, and I like the taste. So a little bit more, that's a benefit. We should always share. Oh, so I don't know where you guys order your vegetables, wherever. I don't know where you all from. You know, I'm in the US right now, so I have different product people available. You know, I don't know where you order, so it's best to ask Ginat that question because she might have a really good source. Oh, it's available from Korea Street Foods in the UK. They do mail order. So Kate knew where to get it. So that's great. Thank you, Kate. Also, if you want to raise your hand and unmute yourself, you can talk with me, and that might be a nicer way of having a conversation than
the old way.
A Japanese vegetable knife. Is there a question about a Japanese vegetable knife, or Gretchen? Where are you? Can you unmute yourself and ask? Could Ginat send us
I'm
the video?
unmuted. I just, you know, I when I see you doing all those vegetable slicings, you know, I've helped people with slicing, but when they have conventional knives that are thicker, that, you know, they're not so interested in doing so much slicing. And, you know, we shouldn't underestimate the value of those very thin carbon bladed Japanese knives. So, you know, we can always share where anybody has been able to find them.
Yeah, Europe might be different. Obviously,
I'm in the United States.
Yeah. So, excuse me.
I'm in the United States.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Also, actually, if you want, you can go. I'm working with a company who gets a very exclusive, very high quality Japanese products and things for the kitchen. And so, if you look into that through my website, you can see that I don't have the URL right now handy, but I could possibly provide. But if you look into my website, you can see it. It's yeah. So if you want me to look, it will take a little bit longer right now to do that while I'm talking. But Gretchen, you can also send me an email, gabriele.kushi@gmail.com. For anybody who likes to have a little bit more of a talk or have some more questions after the sessions here, then we can do that via email too.
I have to say that I didn't take as many notes as I would have liked to had I known we weren't going to be able to review the video, because usually we can see the entire
Gretchen, you will be able to see it. Like
great.
I post everything on YouTube.
Yeah.
This will
Okay.
also be.
Thank you, including her
How,
video.
how would you ask me question, and would you send me an email then, or how would that go, Ginat?
How would I send you a question?
How would anybody see her?
When people review the videos and they have more questions afterwards, how can I get to answer the questions?
It's possible, right? Selma, can you mute yourself? Can you mute yourself?
Sorry.
Thanks. That's okay. So Gabriele, anybody can comment on any of the videos, and if it comes to me, I'll send it on to you.
Okay, thank you. Great.
Can you say more about the kombu?
Excuse me?
Can you say more about the kombu?
Oh, the
sea
kombu
vegetable.
Yeah, it's like, basically it's called the star. It's the star of the sea vegetables. I didn't talk much about that kombu in the sea vegetable class because I'm talking more about it when I'm using it for vegetable cooking or bean cooking, you know, so then I talk a little bit more about it. You can use it in many different ways. It has a lot of strong medicine in it, which people have been done some research in Japan. So it's like really a good place to use it on a daily basis, a small amount. It grows in different places on the ocean in different ways. When it's kombu, it's called close more to Japan and Korea where it's growing, because it's a different kind of kombu than it is kelp. Like for instance, I don't know where you are, but in Maine, close to the East Coast, we have kelp, which is also a type of kombu. So there are like different types. There are different ways to harvest them and to eat them, and there are different names for different parts of kombu. You can soak it a little bit. You can wipe it off. We usually wipe it off with a cloth, and then we are soaking it, and then we're using it either to make the sea vegetable a soup. To make the miso soup, and that helps us with giving us the minerals and also the specific umami flavor, which is so well known in the Oriental cuisine. This is glutamate, but it is natural glutamate, so people won't have the reactions than if you would go to an Oriental restaurant and they're using glutamate as a chemical substitute, as a substitute which is kind of processed. So in this way, that is the flavor, as shortly explained. Is there anything else I should tell you about kombu? There are many dishes you can do. You can do shio kombu. You can use it as a small stem size in the rice or the beans. It helps to soften the beans. It is a very good condiment. And you can also bake it, and somebody else mentioned in the chat that if you can bake wakame, you may try it. You can do that too. It's very crunchy. And some sea vegetable recipes, you can make sesame seeds with dried kombu, where you grind the kombu or the wakame first when it's dried in the oven, and then make it as a gomaggio. Instead of salt, you're using sea vegetables then.
Would that be suitable for a no salt diet?
Well, no salt diet is better to soak.
Mhm.
So then you have to soak it first, and then you would have to try it. You mean like the baked one? You're asking about? Yeah, you have to soak that first, so that all the salt goes out. Just the wiping will not take the salt off.
Mhm.
Okay. So, but it has high iodine. So sea salt doesn't have iodine, but sea vegetables have. So
do sea vegetables ever go bad or too old? I found some nori sheets hidden away in my pantry that are faded. So I'm wondering, they're not as dark green as they were, the nori sheets. So does it matter? I can still use them?
yeah.
Okay.
You can toast them too, a little bit, and freshen them up, make them more
Okay.
crunchy, whatever you want to do with them. I mean, they might not taste the freshest, but for everything kind of loses it's a little bit its potencies, or it changes. So for instance, if you use, sometimes I get these questions with miso, I have miso a long time, can I still use it? Yes, you can, because it still starts to ferment a small little amount. And sometimes it will be very sour or moldy. So you have to take that off, but you still can eat it. So that's a good thing with some of the vegetables, sea vegetables included, because they are dried. If you don't want to eat them anymore, you can soak them, and you can, not so much the wakame, but if you have, for instance, kombu, older kombu, or arame or isiki, you can soak the vegetables in a lot of water, and then you can use the soaking water in your tub and take a soaking bath in the sea vegetables. And that way you are using it to nourish your body. And if you don't want to eat it, if it's like 20 years old, but it will probably still work. Or you give the sea vegetable the water diluted to the plants, either in the garden or your vegetable garden, or for your plants in the house. So there is several ways to use all the stuff you have in the pantry and not used, or you can use it that way. Any more questions? Did that answer your questions about kombu? Hello?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, thank you. The question, can you use the sea vegetable water for a bath for a baby?
No, I wouldn't. No. With the baby, you have to really see what kind of condition this is, and yeah, you would not really do that. So if very diluted, because you have to really take the salt off then, because we don't give babies really salt, because salt is a very young contracting energy, and sea vegetables are anyway also much more young. So we are supposed to only like 5% from our whole volume of food per day on sea vegetables. So it's not like 10% every day for sea vegetables. It's way too much, you know. So it's very strong, very concentrated food. So, and you don't need to give it to the baby, you know. If you breastfeed, you give it to the baby the nourishment in a form which the baby can adjust and eat, you know. So because it goes eventually into the body, so you don't want it. But if you go to salt water and you swim in the ocean, you can do that for a little bit, and then you wash the baby off, you know, you wash the water off and you clean that salt off, so because the baby otherwise might get too young and too cranky. Did that
Thank you.
answer your question?
Thank you.
You're welcome. So we have a little bit more time. Does anybody have some questions about sea vegetables, about knives, about condiments, about anything, about soaking, about snacking?
Gabriele, you seem to be knowledgeable about things that are, you know, the age of things. And I worry about I have natto that I've had too long. I have fermented like sauerkraut mixtures that I wonder, do they ever, you know, can you ever have those too long? I have a tendency to get things hidden in my refrigerator and find them later and wonder if I can still use them. So like natto, and you already said about miso, but what about like fermented vegetables and sauerkrauts and natto?
Miso, if you have the 2-year-old, it's stronger fermented. Sauerkraut and those, they are mostly fermented for about 3 months. So just start, I assume everything in the refrigerator, that's what you say. You still can eat it, but it will taste more sour if you haven't really sealed it, or the way you take the sauerkraut out, you know, out of maybe if you used it and put it right away in your mouth, you have the saliva in the sauerkraut and it will start to ferment, and that's not a good thing. Like, so if you have taken it out and put it on a plate and then closed it off and your saliva didn't get in touch with any of this, that's a better way to keep it for a longer time. I don't know about years if it has been open. Even if it has been open, it's a good idea to keep on eating it. So if you say, okay, I'm opening up a bottle of or a glass of sauerkraut, and then you make sure you write that down when you open it up, and that you eat every day a little bit till it's empty. Okay, so that's the best way. And with the natto, if you have it not I freeze sometimes my natto because I cannot eat everything at once, because sometimes you order it organic and you want to freeze it, and sometimes it comes that way too, and then it lasts definitely longer. But if you have it already out and if you have used it, it's kind of starts same thing. If you have your saliva and it starts to ferment and continues fermenting, and there is nothing wrong with it, but it might not taste very appealing to you. Natto is anyway a food which needs, not everybody likes it. So let's say like that. If you're a lover of it, try it. You know, you'll see like, oh, I want to eat this. You go like, maybe not. I don't want to eat it. Not. Maybe I'm going to do a composting on it. You know, so does that answer your question?
You can't get hurt by eating old natto that's been refrigerated and never opened.
I have no idea. I never done it. So you try, you give a bite. I have no idea. Old stuff. Usually what we're saying is that you need to clean your refrigerator at least once a month and get things out which you're using and which you're not using. Okay. So make it orderly in your refrigerator. That's one of the ways to eat macrobiotically. You want to be as orderly and organized and clean as possible, so the energy which what you're cooking and what you're doing in your life flows easy through you and around you in your environment. Your refrigerator is also one of your lifelines, you know, so you need to keep that clean. You need to organize it and in a way so you can use it on a daily basis and then make it your friend. Okay.
Sometimes I travel and I go to places where they have a lot of things I can't get locally, and that's what happens. I end up getting some things in advance and then get a little bit overwhelmed, and I don't get to them. So
I understand. It's not it's just a suggestion, and write down what you have already and what you need, what you can order at a time. And some of the things, if they are not opened, they can last a long time. There is often also a shelf life on it. Depends how they're prepared. So if you have fresh sauerkraut, which has never been done anything to preserve it for longer time than just maybe 3-4 months, then you can keep those things longer. But if they are just really just fresh and they are really spoil much easier, the spoiling rate can be easier. Depends on your refrigerator, depends how long it is. So you should try, use your own judgment. When you taste it and it feels like yummy to you, I would say I would eat it. If it says like, this tastes too sour to me, I would not eat it, possibly. So use your own judgment. It's really hard to say what you have in your refrigerator, how it has been prepared. So as a general rule, but you can, for half a year is fine. But if you have an opened sauerkraut class in your refrigerator for 3 years, it will taste sour, really sour. Will you try? You see, and you let me know, text me or send me an email, and we can chat more about shopping when you are outside your regular shopping ways, and you can try, get some things. I do the same thing when I go to Portugal or to Germany. I try to buy some things which I don't get, but then when I'm opening them up, I will know I have to use this. I cannot leave it for so long, because when you have things open, the energy goes away. Make sense?
Along the lines of that same discussion, I once acquired sea vegetables at a conference, and in little bags, the dried, hard, large sea vegetables from Maine. And whenever I went to make them, they didn't appeal to me. But I never threw them out. And I bet they could be 8 years old. Should I throw those out, or these dried sea vegetables like that are always good?
For me, food, I'd never really throw food out. I compost it, so I use the compost either in our what we have as in a city where I'm at, or I'm using it to compost and use it in my own garden. So that's one of the things what I'm doing, so sea vegetables, you can do a lot of things with it, even if they're older. So you can soak them and use the soaking water, for a bath or something, if you want to, foot bath, or you can make a hot warm, and you can rub your body and just get some of the sea and the energy that way in your life, because we need to have different elements in our lives, like the water, the earth. And so, like, for instance, barefoot walking is a very important thing to get the energy from the earth. So if you are not living close to the ocean, you can make some seaweed water and you can soak your feet in there, or you can get the body scrub like that, so you can use it, the things, even if you don't eat them, in a way, so you use part of it, and you honor what the harvesting and what the people gave to you and what you bought, so that you have a consciousness that allows you to be in harmony with the nature and the food, what is offered and what is given to us, and what we are lucky enough to buy and get. So we're trying to be as respectful and as honorable to that as possible, so whatever you do, give it to as a present, maybe,
Right, but would you eat it after all those years? That's what I'm asking.
I would try it at least. I would maybe bake it, or something. Why not? I would try it and see, can I do it? Is it crunchy? Does it make sense? It did lose something. Yeah, it doesn't have the full amount. And if you have a two-year-old, or if you have a fresh kombu or sea vegetables, but it does not go really stale. Sometimes if it hasn't been dried properly in the sun, you can see sometimes with this, when there is a lot of salt there, you can see sometimes it is a little bit moldy, because you have to have really good sea vegetables, you know, to save it that long.
Thank you.
Gretchen,
Don't throw things out before you try them. And just a
No,
small-
I
these-
don't. That's why I still have it. Because I don't
Are-
throw out.
are these vegetables from Maine, from Larch Hanson, from Larch's website?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, Gretchen.
Oh, I wondered if Audrey got them at a conference that Lino Stanchich had.
It may have been. I've been to Lino's.
I really want to thank Gabriele Kushi. You were just amazing. You have so much information and such a clear presentation. I really appreciate it a lot.
Thank you.
So-
I enjoy it. Thank you so much, Gina.
Yeah,
I have
yeah,
to thank you
yeah.
for inviting me, and I have to thank all of you who are still on chat or not. And there, I was so amazing to see you and see your names. Some of you I didn't see personally, but please be in touch. There is my email. Please
Right.
send me and let me know where I know you from. And if you have any questions, please, and go to my website, kushiskitchen.com. And if you are interested, I do 1 hour free, 60 minutes free counseling session. So
Wow.
you can get more information
Wow.
if you want.
Take
That's about
advantage.
the
That's
vegetables.
great.
Yeah,
Wow,
I've
that's
taken
wonderful.
advantage, but I still have it, and I'm not
Yeah.
too clever about my baby, and I'm stopped working, so I'm still working.
Yeah, yeah. And
Thank you so much.
congratulations on being grandmother.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Bye. Thank you.